Tracer, pulse pistols. Damage fall off now starts at 13 meters, up from 10 meters. Interesting. Does it still end at 20? Or is the fall off, what is the, the important part is where does the fall off end? So if you guys don't know, let me just explain fall off. If you guys don't know what fall off is, so there's going to be damage, DMG, over distance. So basically this is going to be start of the fall off. So we'll say A is the start of fall off, B is the end of fall off. This is going to be max damage, and this is going to be min damage, right? But chat is saying 26. We'll check it. Basically, so you start at max damage, right? And then you will go up to the first fall off point. And then after that, at the second distance is the minimum. And the fall off chart looks like this. So the big one is if Tracer got her fall off moved from 10 to 13, basically it moves this to here. But the question is, does this line go from our new point here to here, or from here to here? Because if they only changed it up to 13, basically it only affects, Tracer will only do more damage between 10 and 20 meters. And the amount of increased damage will be most between 10 to 13, but you'll still see some increase between 13 and 20. But if the increase is from 13 to like 23 or 26, then we get all this area of the graph that is increased damage as well. So this is a big area. Big area. So when we're evaluating whether or not this is a big change to Tracer, what matters is that we know the end of fall off as well. Okay, so if we're looking at this and it is going out, that means that we do get this increase. This is 20 and this is probably 23. Just because there was such a minor difference when I was checking in here, I'm going to assume that the difference, or they just still had this distance. I don't know, it's either 23 or 26, but basically they did increase this number. So the big thing about this basically is that now Tracer, this encourages the kind of play style that is going to make Tracer less of a hard engager, somebody who kind of like positions and ambushes, and now it's going to be more of like a skirmisher, and you can poke people down from range and threaten them with like a little bit of reduced health. So you could drop a 200 HP squishy. You could pressure like Anas and Zenyatas more, because if you can get them down to like 150 HP, then they're in huge threat, because it's going to be way easier to actually go in and one-clips them. So this is going to reduce, it's not even going to reduce the effectiveness of assault and ambush playstyles. It's just going to increase kind of pressure and like harassment skirmish playstyles. So yeah, I think that's a pretty sizable buff, honestly. I think that's a pretty sizable buff.